Hey, what's up guys? Today I'm reviewing the Walmart exclusive Steelbook Blu-ray release of Terrifier 2. I think we're all familiar with Terrifier 2. This came out in theaters back in October and did way better than anybody thought it would do. It's kind of unprecedented how well this movie did. I think the budget was a few $100,000 maybe, and it did over 12 million in the box office, which, thank God. I mean, that's one of the coolest things that's happened in a while in the horror landscape, in my opinion. I hope it affects some change going forward. But anyway, on to my thoughts on Terrifier 2. If you watched my old Terrifier review, which I actually don't recommend because I made it when I was pretty bad at making videos and it's a horrible video in my opinion. But if you watched it, you'll know that I loved Terrifier, probably more than a lot of people. I know a lot of people love it, a lot of people hate it, and a lot of people are just kind of in the middle. It's a pretty divisive movie. I recognize it didn't have a lot of plot and that it was just kind of a clown killing people and that's it, but I didn't mind that because it was very entertaining to watch. Terrifier 2 steps that up, adds a pretty deep plot, and it all just kind of works. I think the biggest thing about Art the Clown and why it works so much is because he's left very ambiguous. He does all these things that just kind of make you scratch your head, like what the fuck is he doing? I mean, spoiler alert, we know at this point that he's a demon of some kind, but we don't know really anything else. What he's doing, why he can do the things he can do. And they add another factor into that to keep it spoiler free on the other side with our main character, Sienna. And I'll leave off where this falls in my ranking because I am probably going to do a video on that, but this is one of my favorite movies of the year. And I was one of the people who was pretty hard on how the release of this movie was handled. What I mean by that is, first off, Terrifier came out in 2016. By the time 2020 rolled around and I heard that there was a sequel coming out, I was excited, but I thought maybe they had waited too long. They should have maybe gotten this out a couple years earlier when the hype from Terrifier was still pretty high, with it being on Netflix and getting a lot more attention than it normally would have. And then when I heard it was over 2 hours long, man, I was just like, because I've probably said it before, no slasher movie should be 2 hours long. That's way too long for a slasher. But this movie proved me wrong. I watched it in theaters. I thought I might be a little overhyped. So once the release came out, I watched it again. And for a slasher movie to be over 2 hours long and never feel too long is kind of unprecedented. It's a huge accomplishment, and this movie did that. If I was sitting there watching critically, yeah, I could pick out a few scenes that could be trimmed to shorten it, but it doesn't hurt the movie at all. I think the whole thing has great pacing, great flow. Aside from a couple spots you never really feel like, all right, come on, let's get past this. It's done really well. You like the characters, and then of course Art is built up to be just insanely sadistic, even more than he was in the first one. And they actually top the big money scene in Terrifier, which I never thought they could do, but they do. And of course the ending is insane. It's just, when I saw the ending, I was like, hell yeah. And that's another thing about the movie, is that if you like especially late 80s, early 90s horror movies and how crazy they get, and you've kind of been sick of this last 20 years of people insisting everything be so rooted in reality that it actually is just boring. And you've got, Jason can't be undead. He has to be just a crazy survivalist trapper guy. Joker didn't fall in a vat of acid. He is just a psycho who somehow got a smile carved in his face. Movies have to be super grounded in reality. If you're like me, you kind of miss when movies could be fantastical and That's what this movie does. It feels a lot like late 80s, like around the time Dream Warriors and Dream Master came out, and a lot of movies were doing that crazy, almost surrealist kind of concepts that added comedy to the horror and just went as insane as it could go. I get Nightmare on Elm Street franchise vibes from this, like Hello Mary Lou, Phantasm 2. I mean, I could just go on. This is just something that I've been wanting for a long time, and we're finally starting to see stuff like this again, and it's very exciting for a guy like me who's been kind of miserable over the last 20 years with a lot of things in the horror movie industry, especially mainstream. So yeah, I mean, 4 stars for sure. This is an instant classic for me. And as far as the release goes, this is a beautiful steelbook. It's got sick ass cover art. Look at that fucking cover art. It's beautiful. You've got Art the Clown being creepy in the Halloween store back here. Great scene. And kind of some backdrops from the movie in here. And the disc. Oddly, this didn't even come with a J card. I thought that was a little weird. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter at the end of the day. It doesn't really hurt my opinion on the release. Just thought it was odd. This is what you get. So you basically have to pop the disc in to find out feature-wise what you're getting. And you get, you know, an interview, a little behind the scenes, a commentary. Not a whole lot, but I mean, it's a newer movie. They usually don't get a lot of features, and I'm happy with the features we got. Movie looks great. Movie sounds great. 4 stars on this release. There are plenty of options. I don't think you could go wrong with any of them. I'm presuming they all have the same bonus material on them, and it's really just about packaging. But if you want to go with this one, I don't think you'll be disappointed because it looks sick. So yeah, 4 stars. Highly recommend it. And that's it. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. And until next time.